to enforce immigration laws in the United States, in Minnesota and in the city. Mississippi, edit. Mississippi has banned sanctuary cities. Missouri, edit. Missouri has banned sanctuary cities. Montana, edit. In April 2021, Governor Greg Gilford signed a bill that bans sanctuary cities in Montana. Montana became the 13th state to ban sanctuary cities. Nevada, edit. 1 Clark County and Las Vegas. New York, edit. New York State has a pro-sanctuary city law. 1 Albany Mayor Kathy Sheehan stated that the city complies with federal law and cooperates with ICE, but she asserted that comments by national government officials show a failure to understand what is happening in our cities and why a city like Albany would choose to label itself as a sanctuary city. 2 Ithaca. 3 New York City, see also illegal immigration to New York City. 4 Newburgh declared itself a sanctuary city in March 2017. 5 Rochester. 6 Syracuse. New Jersey, edit. In 2018, Attorney General Gerber Grewal issued the Immigrant Trust Directive, which effectively made New Jersey a sanctuary state. Among the municipalities which are considered sanctuary cities are Asbury Park, Camden, East Orange, Hoboken, Jersey City, Linden, New Brunswick, Newark, North Bergen, Plainfield, Trenton and Union City. Those with specific executive orders made by mayors or resolution by municipal councils are 1 Jersey City, 2 Maplewood, 3 Newark, 4 East Orange, 5 Prospect Park, 6 Union City, 7 Highland Park, see Reformed Church of Highland Park, 8 Hoboken, New Mexico, edit. All county jails are prohibited from honoring ICE detainers, unless they have an arrest warrant signed by a judge. North Carolina, edit. North Carolina has banned sanctuary cities. The state restricts any city or municipality from refusing to cooperate with federal immigration and customs enforcement officials. There are therefore no official sanctuary cities in the state. A bill, initially under consideration as of March 2017, is entitled Citizens Protection Act of 2017 or HB 63. Under the new provisions, the state would be able to deny bail to illegal immigrants for whom Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has issued a detainer, allow the state to withhold tax revenues from cities who are not in compliance with the statewide immigration regulations, and encourage tipsters to identify municipalities which violate these laws. A similar version of HB 63 was introduced in February 2023 during the 2023 to 2024 session. North Dakota, edit. In 2023, the state enacted a law that bans the establishment of sanctuary areas. The measure forbids local governments and higher education institutions from setting policies that inhibit authorities from reporting illegal immigrants to federal officials, or that allow illegal immigrants the legal right to stay in a jurisdiction. Ohio, edit. 1 Cleveland. 2 Cincinnati's mayor declared the city a sanctuary city in January 2017, in response to a federal executive order limiting immigration issued 3 days earlier. 3 As of 2019, Ohio, Kentucky and Michigan are pushing for anti-sanctuary cities measures in their states. Oregon, edit. State law passed in 1987, Oregon Revised Statute 181.850, which prohibits law enforcement officers at the state, county or municipal level from enforcing federal immigration laws that target people based on their race or ethnic origin, when those individuals are not suspected of any criminal activities. 1. Beaverton City Council passed a resolution in January 2017 stating, in part, the city of Beaverton is committed to living its values as a welcoming city for all individuals, regardless of a person's immigration status, and that they would abide by Oregon state law of not enforcing federal immigration laws. 2. Corvallis. 3. Portland, Pennsylvania, edit. There are 17 sanctuary jurisdictions in the state of Pennsylvania. Sanctuary jurisdictions exist in Bradford County, Bucks County, Delaware County, Erie County, Franklin County, Lebanon County, Lehigh County, Lycoming County, Montgomery County, Montour County, Perry County, Philadelphia County, Pike County, and Westmoreland County. 1. Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney said in November 2016 that federal immigration policies lead to more crime, and that crime rates declined the year he reinstated a sanctuary city policy. U.S. Attorney General Sessions has included Philadelphia on the list of cities threatened with subpoenas if they fail to provide documents to show whether local law enforcement officers are sharing information with federal immigration authorities. Rhode Island, edit. In 2014, Governor Lincoln Chafee put in place a new policy instructing the Department of Corrections to stop honoring immigration detainers without a warrant. South Carolina, edit. South Carolina has banned sanctuary cities. Tennessee, edit. Tennessee state law bars local governments or officials from making policies that stop local entities from complying with federal immigration law. In 2017, legislation proposed in the Tennessee General Assembly would go further, withholding funding from local governments deemed insufficiently cooperative with the federal government. On the 29th of January, 2025, a majority of legislators in the Tennessee Senate voted to adopt SB 6002, a bill which creates criminal penalties for officials who adopt sanctuary policies and subsequently requires their removal from office upon conviction. The act charges a Class E felony, resulting in a potential prison sentence of between 1 to 6 years, upon each official who, in their capacity as a member of the governing body of a local government, votes in the affirmative to adopt a sanctuary policy. 1. In Nashville, Mayor David Briley signed an executive order in September 2019 directing city attorneys to investigate grounds for challenging Tennessee's anti-sanctuary city law. His successor, John Cooper, rescinded the order in December 2019, saying that Nashville cannot and will not be a sanctuary city. Cooper did not support federalizing the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, saying that our police needs to be for us and our local law enforcement and not always being agents of the federal government, the IRS, the EPA, alcohol and tobacco or ICE. If they have a non-judicial warrant that has not ever been before a judge, it needs to be a lower priority for what we need to do. Texas, edit. In Texas, no city has formally declared sanctuary status. A few do not fully cooperate with federal immigration authorities and have drawn a negative response from the legislature. Bills seeking to deprive state funding from police departments and municipalities that do not cooperate with federal authorities were introduced into the Texas legislature several times. In February 2017, Texas Governor Greg Abbott blocked funding to Travis County, Texas due to its recently implemented de facto sanctuary city policy. In May 2017, Abbott signed Texas Senate Bill 4 into law, effectively banning sanctuary cities by charging county or city officials who refuse to work with federal officials and by allowing police officers to check the immigration status of those they detain if they choose. In May 2018, the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit found that the law does not violate the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Vermont, edit. In 2017, Vermont passed a law granting the governor the sole authority to commit state or local law enforcement to enforce federal immigration law. Governor Phil Scott said, "I want to be very clear, this law has been carefully crafted through a consensus-building process to confirm Vermont remains compliant with federal law, that we would not be establishing a sanctuary state." Previously, a 2014 law directed local law enforcement to disregard immigration detainers, but compliance was optional. Washington, edit. Washington enacted a measure in June 2019 in favor of sanctuary cities, similar to California and Oregon laws, which are among the strongest statewide mandates in the nation. 1 Seattle. Washington, D.C. Edit. Washington, D.C. is a sanctuary city. Canada, edit. Central Canada, edit. Toronto was the first city in Canada to declare itself a sanctuary city, with the Toronto City Council voting 37-3 in February 2013, to adopt a policy allowing undocumented immigrants to access city services. Hamilton, Ontario declared itself a sanctuary city in February 2014 after the Hamilton City Council voted unanimously to allow undocumented immigrants to access city-funded services such as shelters, housing and food banks. In response to U.S. President Donald Trump's Executive Order 13,769, the City Council of London, Ontario voted unanimously to declare London a sanctuary city in January 2017, with Montreal doing the same in February 2017 after a unanimous vote. Western Canada, edit. While Vancouver is not a sanctuary city, it adopted an access to city services without fear policy for residents that are undocumented or have an uncertain immigration status in April 2016. The policy does not apply to municipal services operated by individual boards, including services provided by the Vancouver Police Department, Vancouver Public Library, or Vancouver Park Board. As of February 2017, the cities of Calgary, Regina, Saskatoon, and Winnipeg are considering motions to declare themselves sanctuary cities. In September 2018, Edmonton adopted access without fear policy for undocumented and vulnerable residents. United Kingdom, edit. In the United Kingdom, sanctuary cities provide services such as housing, education, and cultural integration to asylum seekers, i.e. persons fleeing one country and seeking protection in another. The movement began in Sheffield in 2005. It was motivated by a national policy adopted in 1999 to disperse asylum seekers to different towns and cities in the UK. Sheffield, edit. In 2009, the City Council of Sheffield drew up a manifesto outlining key areas of concern, and 100 supporting organizations signed on. A city's status as a place of sanctuary is not necessarily a formal governmental designation. The organization City of Sanctuary encourages local grassroots groups throughout the UK and Ireland to build a culture of hospitality towards asylum seekers. Glasgow, edit. Glasgow is a noted sanctuary city in Scotland. In 2000, the City Council accepted their first asylum seekers relocated by the Home Office. The Home Office provided funding to support asylum seekers but would also forcibly deport them, removal seizures, if it was determined they could not stay in the UK. As of 2010, Glasgow had accepted 22,000 asylum seekers from 75 different nations. In 2007, local residents upset by the human impact of removal seizures, organized watches to warn asylum seekers when Home Office vans were in the neighborhood. They also organized protests and vigils which led to the ending of the removal seizures. Iran, edit. National Immigration Organization has a program to build guest cities. Comparison with biblical sanctuary cities, edit. Sanctuary cities in the Old Testament and narrowly applied only to those guilty of unintentional manslaughter as protection against the avenger, perhaps a close relative. Protection wasn't permanent. The manslayer remained until the death of the high priest, then could return home. This system balanced mercy and justice, ensuring the killer was shielded from revenge but not from accountability. In contrast, modern sanctuary cities extend protection to undocumented immigrants, limiting local cooperation with immigration enforcement. Their focus is social justice and community trust, not specific crimes like manslaughter. Though they borrow the biblical term, the scope and intent are much broader. Ironically, the only biblical example involving a sanctuary city involved abuses of the system. Job's brother was killed in battle by Abner. Job retaliated and murdered Abner in Hebron, a sanctuary city, though Abner was there for political talks, not refuge. Later, Job himself appealing for sanctuary grabbed the altar horns seeking asylum, but Solomon had him executed for premeditated murder. As Matthew Henry noted, they that expect to find mercy with God must show mercy to their brethren. Some theologians interpret these cities and the death of the high priest as a foreshadowing of Christ providing refuge in his death. Matthew Henry wrote that the high priest's death prefigured Christ's sacrifice from the wrath due sin, and Charles Spurgeon called Christ the true city of refuge. The New Testament echoes this in Hebrews 9:11-12. See also, edit. 1 border barrier. 2 closed city. 3 justice delayed is justice denied. 4 list of cities with defensive walls.
Good. I did finish reading. I like to learn something new, but there's so much to read. But I will upload this 1 p.m. I will go sell some empty bottles and buy a bit candy in local supermarket, because it's Saturday evening. See. So I will go upload this. Actually, I like to close it because now I did finish reading. Read this. I have it. Then I will delete it. I have it on my list. But I have like 1,000. I have it there. And I deleted from a 308. So just need 1,000 more. This one I have not write on my paper, but I could do that. Just write it down here. Mexico. Mexico. United upstate. Border wall, that's very good. They should build a very long, very high wall. I why not do that? They should do that. Build a super large high wall with a lot of barbed wires, a lot of guard cord. I understand should build a long wall from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic. No, that's Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. So that's very good. But now I will upload this. No, this should build a long border wall. Very big and high wall all the way across. So now I will go sell some empty bottles and buy some candy.